a little bit of insight into the last cohort that I had, which was last week. So just to give you a bit of an insight, I guess, into the types of the students that we do come and go through the Accredited Barista course. We did have quite a few students who had just finished their HSC in December last year, were already working or looking for work and wanting to expand their job opportunities. I had one gentleman who was looking at purchasing a cafe and was in the process of that to take over in February this year. And I had a lady, which is actually very common for people who have just purchased a home espresso machine and wanting to learn how to use that themselves. So that's where this machine comes in handy just here, where I can actually give them a little bit more insight into weight with their coffee grinders, weight with their coffee grind, and then how to use their home espresso machine to the best of its potential. Obviously, they're all different, but we work through that with good and clear demonstrations so that when they do go home, they feel confident in being able to play around with their coffee machine at home. So the cohort that we had were extremely happy and excited to go home and either use their home espresso machine or heading off to get some work or progress wherever they may be employed. I'm looking forward to seeing one of the gentlemen who was in last week's group and seeing his cafe open up in February, which is pretty exciting. And to be a part of that journey with him with an accreditation, I think that's something to be pretty proud of as well. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a show if you'd like to come around with me in the kitchen. So what we actually have a line up here is obviously everything that we use throughout the day. It is part of the students' requirement to top up everything, including our coffee beans. We use Zenfeld's coffee beans here, which are absolutely amazing, and they are a local brand. So they are responsible for topping that up as they would be in a cafe setting. We do have scales here as well. So they get the full experience of actually measuring out the coffee grind. And it's especially important when it comes down to wastage for a business, to eliminating that wastage number for them. We come down and then we've got our coffee cups down here, our waste bin, which is actually emptied and cleaned daily. And we don't usually have the jugs sitting out here. These are just for demonstration, but if you come over along this side, I will show you, we've got our mixer, our oven for cookery. We have all our condiments, our cups of tea, sugar, and our stored thermometers over here. Pens for writing on our takeaway lids, sugars, honey. And we have a third grinder over here. So if we do have a large class, no one's sitting there feeling missing out or just watching or getting bored, which they wouldn't anyway. So we do have this third grinder here where they can come around once again and play around with the grind number just to try and make sure that they're really nailing that texture. This is where you'll find the home of our beautiful jugs in here. So our fridge, we have it actually stored in process. So down here, we actually have our milks and they're dated. As soon as they're open, they're dated and they're put down. And then we have all our, the types of coffees that we make throughout the day. So if any student is in here and we're just about to say, let's use, say, flat white, for example, and they're unsure and they think, oh, okay, what is that one again? They can actually turn around and have a read through of exactly what we're aiming for in that process of assessment. And then if you have a look at here, we've got our refrigerator storage chart. So we don't keep chicken in here, but this is just for our food safety supervisor course. But we store our milk on the bottom shelf and that's regularly used and rotated anyway. This is our fridge that we use. We've got all our temperatures here, so it is really important because students are actually assessed on the temperatures and what to actually look for with the digital up here, and if it is dropping below or going above, and what they actually need to do if they do see those temperatures rise. We have all our boards over here down here, for our food safety supervisor. All our coloured boards, and then we've got the storage. So we've got the storage of all our coffee beans down here. So it's easily accessible. There's no issue with WHS, with anyone bending and having to lift boxes. They just have to pull out a bag of coffee beans and then take it over to the grinder. We have all our gloves and cling wrap available, all at very easy accessible heights for the students. And then we do keep our milks, our long life milks, should I say, and teas just over here. And then they are pulled out for each course and then dated if opened, and then put in the fridge, never put back on the shelf. And then we also have our storage of chocolate, which is quite important because not everyone drinks coffee. Teas as well are stored over there, and all our knives, plates, any spare cups and cutlery. And we've got all our washing up area here. As you can see, we've got our sink for equipment, bins, and our dishwashing trays here. We've got our clean to indicate what is clean and what is dirty, and they're always on a very, very good rotation using the industrial dishwasher that we have here. We bring it over here. Down here we've got a storage of all our chemicals that is attached to the dishwasher. We've got our chemicals stored safely away here in the box, and then on the other side we've got all our cloths that are tucked away. The cloths we actually do use regularly in our barista and food safety courses. So the way I run this, we've got our brown cloth, which is our dry cloth. So that is for things for wiping out our group head just here. And then we've got our blue cloth, that is our wet cloth, and this is for wiping down surfaces. Just to avoid any form of cross-contamination, we make sure that our students are getting into the habit of making sure that they're using separate cloths for separate cleaning areas. In food safety, we do use a pink and a green one, so there ends up being 4 cloths with the food safety. We have our knockout boxes, which is, we've got one here. That's for if you're unsure of what our knockout boxes are, so they're for our coffee cakes, and we've got one here. And that brings us to the end of our North Coast Community College run through with our barista course, and welcome you into the kitchen. Thank you.